The Human Rights Festival is back at the Constitution Hill, and this year is being celebrated in style. Exhibitions, films, poetry and live performances are underway. The festival mission is to evoke a sense of community that we need to make our nation a better place. Masego Ratlaga is there at Constitution Hill. Let's cross to her now just to get a sense of how events are proceeding there, Masego, and the kind of conversations that you've been having with those who appreciate the importance of looking and celebrating a day like human rights.
Well, the program here is expected to start at around 10:30 this morning, but we thought we could come in and start the day on Newslink and talk about, human rights, various human rights, that have been violated. Some of them, we have done well in some aspects, Rapua, since democracy was founded in our country. But of course, behind me, maybe you can see just a little bit of, the fact that the stage has been set. There'll be people speaking there about their experiences. There'll be LGBTQI, for instance, and GBV survivors who will be speaking and taking to the stage. But for now, I actually have a guest with me. He's from Commemorating Health, and he also is from the Lebone College, Devna Ramnarine. Thank you very much, Devna, for your time here on Newslink. Of course, you'll be speaking to us specifically about access to quality health, and this is, a human right. Tell me about how paramedics fall into ensuring that South Africans do gain access to that right.
Well, thank you for having us. As you said, I'm Denver from Gauteng EMS, and we obviously have a mandate for making sure that people have access to healthcare, and access to healthcare is a basic right. And having more resources, having more people trained definitely helps getting emergency services to communities as they need it. Yeah, so basic human rights being healthcare, we provide that.
According to you, how are we doing? We know that a lot of nurses have been saying, or healthcare workers rather, have been saying throughout the course of COVID that we did have a shortage before COVID, and the shortage has gone worse, etc. In terms of you being able to reach all communities. So would you say you are able to offer that right to every single corner of Gauteng?
So shortages, it's going to be a problem regardless. It's been a problem in the past. It's going to be a problem in the future. The only thing that we can do to mitigate for those shortages is to train new paramedics, which that is our core function at Lebone College, is to train new paramedics, to train people to go out there into the industry and to help. Nursing shortages, yes, there was before, there is going to be further down the line, and the only thing that the Gauteng Health EMS can do is to put more resources on the ground and to make sure that we can reach those far-reaching areas, which we've been doing. I mean, we've been doing, since the inception of Gauteng EMS to now, huge improvements to getting to where we are right now. And definitely plans and processes in going forward to make sure that we can get that even better.
So you spoke about giving people access to, health through EMS as well, when you're called out to scenes, etc. I've covered, for instance, maybe a robbery or somewhere where a shootout ensued between police officers and the suspected criminals. And I've always wondered... I've always wondered when I see the paramedics, having to resuscitate a person who allegedly robbed somebody, or a person who allegedly killed somebody at a business robbery, etc. How do you separate from that? I'm sure you still have to, do what you need to do.
Look, as we said just now, is that access to healthcare is a basic human right. There's nobody in the country that can then take that away from you. If you were even potentially a criminal, it's not our job to make that decision right there on the ground. Our job is to help someone who's been injured and almost make a divide to say, well, I'm not part of the legal system that's going to prosecute this person, but I am part of the healthcare system that needs to help this person. Whether it's on the law side or on the wrong side of the law side, the person needs assistance, and we have to be there for that and be that assistance. Yeah, we have to divide ourselves and what we believe and try and help them to the best of our ability, get them to hospital, let them face their court date, let them be taken through the justice system adequately, and if they turn out to be charged, well, that's not for us to decide.
Your job is to save their life.
Our job is to treat everyone equally, regardless if they're on the police side or the criminal side. We have to put aside our initial misjudgments and just treat them as human beings.
You also have human rights as emergency services personnel that have been violated by the public. We've heard so many times that paramedics go out, they're called to a scene. When they get there, they realize that they're about to get robbed.
Yeah, paramedic attacks is right in the forefront at the moment. It's quite a big topic at the moment. Paramedics are called out to assist people, and at heart, paramedics have this inherent need to help people. That's why we get into this industry. So when we get called out to an emergency case, there's no second thinking or second guessing what situation you're going to get into. Regardless of what area you've been called into, your heart tells you to go and help. And then a lot of times that is taken advantage of by the criminal element, where they see it as an easy opportunity to call someone into an environment that they're controlling and then rob or steal from us and hurt us in the process. Some paramedics have been beaten, raped, assaulted with knives and guns. So it can become quite a harrowing event for the person that's involved. And for them to then now divide themselves from that and then go and help the next person, then it's like really, it's hurtful to them as well. And we don't go out there to hurt people. We're going out there to help. But this is just also making it quite difficult for us to do that simple function.
What would be your plea, or what would you suggest is a solution, maybe, as paramedics, as you sit there and talk to each other? Because that is a violation of your human rights. If somebody is going to call you to a scene, get you there, rape or beat you up just to get your cell phone, etc., they're violating your human rights. And you're on the job, you work for the government. What do you guys discuss? What do you think should be the solution there?
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to help us to keep safe. From taking SAPS with us to scene to try and mitigate for that. But they also have resource limitations, and they're also, quite busy and things like that. And they can't always be there for us. And we can't let someone die with the thought knowing I could have gone out to help either. So there's a lot that needs to happen from the community side. Community involvement is pretty much how we're going to solve this, because the criminal element is living within the community. So it's the community that needs to then report those elements to us to say, look, we saw something or heard something, so that it can be investigated and these people can be removed from those kind of environments. And once we can get rid of the people who are actually attacking paramedics, we can then hopefully just have a smooth sailing from there.
And those people, I don't think they realize how they also infringe on the human rights of the community, because the minute you get paramedics get a call from that same area to say there's been an emergency, maybe the paramedics are too afraid to go out to that area.
Be afraid. Exactly that. So if for example, if I got to a scenario where I got to an area and I got robbed and attacked and stabbed, even when I get back to my own colleagues and I tell them what happened to me, they're going to be afraid for themselves when they go there, even though it didn't happen to them. So the community that actually needs help is now going to suffer for that. And then it's going to be delayed calls and people losing lives because of a small handful of people that just didn't behave or just want to rob and steal from us, who actually have no intention of even harming them.
Now, you also have, the right to access quality health care as emergency services. You see traumatic things almost daily, right? So do you get that support for, your human right access to quality health, quality mental health?
Yeah, there are employee assistance programs within Gauteng EMS that if you are traumatized by a scene that you can access, and but the onus is on the person themselves. Obviously, no one can come up to you and say, you're struggling every day. They can't keep that going. So obviously, the person who's involved needs to then take the onus upon themselves and say, look, I feel I'm struggling. Is there assistance? Yes, Gauteng EMS does have employee assistance programs, and then that's part of the route that they need to take to get assistance for themselves.
Very quickly, in conclusion, what are some of the things that you teach at Lebone College to contribute to that very important human right of access to quality health?
Well, we're very proud of our programs that we run at Lebone. We have rescue programs that we run. So we have access, rescue rope access, where if there's a person that's stuck somewhere in a remote environment that we need to get to, we can use ropes to get to them. We have search and rescue, so it's fire search and rescue programs that we offer. And the two course leadings that we have is the Diploma in Emergency Medical Care and the Higher Certificate in Emergency Medical Care. Both of those will give more paramedics onto the road so that we can fill any gaps that we have. So yeah, we want people to apply, we want people to join our team, we want people to be encouraged to be a paramedic, and then use that as an avenue to fill those gaps that we might have.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Demba Ramnarain, he is from the Lebone College, and he is, part of, the people in Gauteng Health who try and give us access to quality health. Rafua, I'm going to be speaking to Nishan Bolton from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. Of course, you know that is a freedom stalwart who was there when the Constitution was actually jotted down, to making sure that, this day, or tomorrow's day rather, is not only celebrated, making sure that people know why we have that holiday tomorrow. I mean, you and I, Rapua, tonight might, young people might go home and think that it's a holiday tomorrow, so I get to have my champagne, etc. But there were people who actually died for us to be where we are today.